I'd lay down my life for my brother, but I would not let him win a football game.
Talk about an instant freezing cold take, Jimothy. Welcome to the real winners and losers for Week 12 in the NFL. And shocking news, Harbaugh won the Harbaugh Bowl. The Commanders and Cowboys provided us with one of the most disgustingly entertaining fourth quarters of the season. Saquon BArkley is squatting his way to the top of the MVP race. The Bears lost another heartbreaker, and Tua had his first 4-touchdown game of the season. New rule, announcers can't use the word unmolested anymore.
Unmolested into the backfield.
Technically, it's correct, but we all know it doesn't sound right. I propose a full-time ban on the words molested and penetration by sports announcers. 2 words not even the Blop 10 plays would use. This week's Blop 10 plays begin with 10. Yeah, it's still 10. Mike Tomlin having to answer Antonio Brown questions in the year 2024.
Antonio Brown tweeted out that he wants to return to the Steelers and he'll play for free. Any thoughts on that?
I have no clue how CTESPN became an officially accredited media outlet, but congrats to them. Blop 9, damn. Just when it looked like Quentin Johnston was having a sophomore resurgence, he dropped 3 passes in prime time. The curse wheel went right for his hands. I am sorry, Chargers fans. And all of the drops were bad, too unforgivable, and maybe I was too quick to say Harbaugh was stronger than the chargering. Deontay Johnson saw 0 targets, so he had the same amount of total catches as Quentin Johnston in this game. Blop 8, the Giants had no idea the Buccaneers fumbled as Baker blops right back on the ball, saving his team 3 points. The ball literally bounces through Brian Burns' feet. Fitting though, it's the Giants not realizing they had something good right there in front of them. Blop 7, yeah, it's the Giants again. Their center gets absolutely demolished by Vita Vea. The good news, Tommy Cutlets got properly tenderized, which is essential for optimal flavor. Blop 6, the Commanders fumble the interception and give it right back to Dallas. If you're wondering how you lose to the Cowboys at home, this is how you lose to the Cowboys at home. Blop 5, what's up? Jameis Winston is a walking, talking, breathing blop. From throwing this 2-point conversion with his helmet speaker dangling from the top of his helmet to telling the Steelers to jump off sides.
Terrible, that! Somebody jump off sides, damn!
I'm glad to see Jameis practices the philosophy of speaking it into existence and proving that shit doesn't work. Blop 4, Jonathan Taylor on the pitch back to Richardson for a failed flea flicker. I think it's very clear that with Joe Flacco and Anthony Richardson on the same team, no one else is allowed to have any arm strength for the Colts. I've seen a lot of flea flickers go wrong. This one, the most hilarious. Blop 3, the 49ers got called for 12 men on the field on back-to-back plays.
Well, you don't see that off. 2 plays in a row?
12 angry men and 1 extremely angry man named Kyle Shanahan. Blop 2, this ref getting doinked on the top of the head after the field goal. Nailing the refs in the head is the only way for the Chiefs to start getting calls against him. So credit them for evening the playing field. Good job, Kansas City. Blop 1, Bears returner DeAndre Carter, who warns the punting team to stay away from the football, but failed to heed his own advice as the ball bounces right off his own knee and the Vikings recover. This is like Phillip Rivers going for kid number 30 and accidentally pulling out at the last second. Of the many reasons the Bears lost, this was one of them. And my Blop 0 goes to the officiating crew, showing us that looking backwards is now unsportsmanlike conduct in the NFL. You have to be like Oasis. You cannot look back in anger, Jahmyr Gibbs. Don't forget you can get my coffee at benchwarmershop.com. We've got the Fuck the Refs. We've got the This Is Our Year blend. Turn it around. There's always next year. Black Friday, we're doing 30% off of basically everything with some doorbusters. So make sure you come back on Black Friday. And if you're wondering why I sound like RFK, it's because I have bronchitis. I went to the doctor and they gave me a bronchodilator. And I was like, shit, guys, how'd you know? How'd you know I was a Broncos fan? So that was pretty tight. And I think I'll be all right soon. But you're going to have to bear with me today and praise me for still getting this episode out on time. Can I have some fucking praise? Blop Infinity, Baker Mayfield, insulting every Italian American who ever existed. Why'd you do us like that, Baker?
Are you Italian by any chance or no?
I haven't done a 23andMe, but I don't know.
Losers, scientists, global warming, my ass, climate change, my ass. If the world was in trouble, why would Mother Earth bless us with Steelers-Browns in a perfect snow game on Thursday Night Football? The only EPA in this game is quarterback EPA. Expected points added in the glorious snow. Jameis Winston nearly snow-globed in his pants just thinking about football before the game.
I am so happy and grateful that the Lord has blessed me to play in some snow, to be in true football weather.
People love Jameis, and I realized to be that loved, what you need to do is be both great and terrible at what you do, and speak in cliches and catchphrases.
The horse is prepared for battle, but victory comes from the Lord.
So, the grass is always greener. Glass houses, cowabunga. And of course, upset a division opponent in prime time. That helps.
This is really an NFL's filmed moment. The snow starts pouring down. My feet start getting heavy because I'm squishing through the snow. Somebody jump on sides, damn!
Losers, Steelers fans getting the Russ that got himself benched in Denver last season. Russ was sacked 4 times in that game and fumbled again. Mike Tomlin was crucified for not calling timeouts at the end of the half and the game. Guys, Russell Wilson makes your head coach forget how to manage games. It is that simple. Jameis Winston also had a turnover, but he was only sacked once, which leads us to our real winner. Browns tackle Jack Conklin. That's right, Jackie. You're making me talk like this. Part of the Browns' problems this season have been their offensive line. Injuries and poor play derailed their season, but Conklin on Thursday didn't allow TJ Watt to record a single pressure. The only thing more rare than that would be Russell Wilson going an entire game without taking a sack, or Jameis Winston receiving a 5-star review from his Uber driver. I don't forget. Winning quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa has never lost to the New England Patriots. He's beaten them all 7 times he's faced them. And on Sunday, he had his best game yet versus the Pats, tossing 4 touchdowns, 3 of them coming in the first half alone. Tua hit on 29 of his 40 attempts, going for 317 and not throwing a pick. So efficient, one of the fastest players in the league, Devin Achane, never even had to run faster than a jog to score here. And if you were wondering, that defensive touchdown by the Patriots actually happened because Skylar Thompson was in the game. Don't look now, but since Tua has come back from potentially having his brain scrambled, he's thrown 7 touchdowns and just 1 interception. More importantly, with these last 2 wins, the Dolphins are back in playoff contention at 5-6. Winners, Pats fans, replaying this highlight to Drake May all offseason to get them through the spring and summer. This was one of those games where I thought early, hey, the Patriots are playing solid football. Then somehow Red Zone cuts back to the Dolphins, taking a 24-0 lead in the second. And I just know that Drake May, with 1 touchdown and 1 pick and a 34-15 routing, will still be ranked higher than Bo Nix in the Ringers power rankings this week. My losing quarterback? Well, there wasn't a ton of terrible quarterbacking this weekend, thank God. But we did get an 11 for 28 stinker from Anthony Richardson, a 2-pick game from CJ Stroud, and a couple rookie moments from Drake May. But I'm giving the losing QB to one Kyler Murray for one very specific reason. His defense only allowed 10 points on the road in Seattle. And how does Kyler repay them? By throwing a hook shot directly to Kobe Bryant, who used his Mamba mentality to go 69 yards the other way for a touchdown. Although I didn't see him dribble the ball once, so I can't believe they didn't call fucking traveling here. Kyler also took a brutal shot from the Seahawks Twitter account. And I'll be eagerly awaiting their fine for doing finger guns. You better be consistent, NFL. My winning celebration, Kobe Bryant did grab his penis, dick, balls, and grundle as he leaped into the end zone to honor the original grabber, Marshawn Lynch. Sorry, Kobe. Jameson Williams did this last week and was fined $19,697. The last person to pay that much just to grab himself had to be Louis C.K., right?
Every single person ever has masturbated. Napoleon masturbated. Gandhi.
Winning receiver, on a day where Justin Jefferson was held to 2 grabs for 27 yards, Jordan Addison picked up the slack, catching 8 balls for $162, including, of course, a 69-yard from slinging Sammy Darnold. This was just the first time Addison has gone over 100 yards this season after putting up 910 TDs as a rookie last year. Addison was great, and we also had a big performance from Jalen Waddle, a really clutch game out of Jared Jeudy, and of course a pair of touchdowns from Cortland Sutton. Good week for wideouts. And if you're curious about those Cortland Sutton catches, I already did the whole Broncos video here. You know that. Go watch it. I honestly feel like this is the first time in my life I've sounded like a man. The Joe Burrow motherfucker. The Joe Burrow Award is going to the quarterback who, no matter what he does, his team loses, and it's Caleb Williams. Again, he's taken a lot of heat recently, but he was far from the reason Chicago lost to the Vikings, throwing for a career-high 340 yards to go with 2 touchdowns and no picks, plus a shit ton of rushing yards. And yes, these were the first 2 touchdowns he's thrown since beating the Jaguars in London on October 13th. He also had that sweet jump pass that reminded everyone why he went number 1 overall, which was the only Mahomes play of the week. Dude, this shit is insane. Caleb also threw our FDR of the week, threading the needle here to Keenan Allen. God, Shaden Waldron was terrible. The Bears offense finally looked like all it was cracked up to be, with their big 3 wide receivers combining for 23 catches and over 250 yards. And after the Bears recovered that late onside kick, Williams threw a strike to DJ Moore, setting up the game-tying field goal. Unfortunately, he took a brutal sack in their overtime possession, and for the second straight week, they lost on a field goal. My winning Olympic effort, Mr. Simone Biles himself, Jonathan Owens, stripping and recovering the ball from Aaron Jones at the goal line. The Bears would have never had their hearts ripped out of their chests in overtime without this play. Losing deja vu, Cairo Santos had another fucking kick blocked. And after that, Bears corner Jalen Johnson was called for pass interference, which wiped out Jonathan Owens intercepting the ball in the end zone and gave the Vikings a 1st and goal. All of that came after the cursed blocked field goal. And my question now is, are special teams across the board losers this week, this month? How many blocked field goals, returns, and missed kicks have we seen over the last couple weeks? Winning game manager, Jordan Love. He didn't have to do much to outduel Brandon Allen and the 49ers, which he shouldn't have, and he and the Packers got the win despite just 163 yards through the air. Most notably, Love finally made it through a 60-minute football game without throwing the ball to the other team. That might signal that he's getting hot and ready for a big late season stretch like he had a year ago. Love also had an absolute dime down the field that Christian Watson let bounce off his hands. So we're talking about a 3-touchdown, 200-yard game for Love if his number 1 wideout doesn't play hot potato with the football. Look, if we're going to give those excuses to Anthony Richardson, we better give them to Love too, right guys? The Packers are 8-3 and getting really hot at the right time. To earn game manager, you typically need a running back to help, so credit Josh Jacobs for his 106-yard, 3-touchdown day, his first 3 TD performance as a Packer. Honorable mention, kicker Brandon McManus made the Packers' first field goal attempt of 50 or more yards this season. And somewhere Baker Mayfield was making a mockery of the Sopranos. Losing tacklers, the 49ers, who probably tried to hire Robert Saleh away from the Packers at halftime. Josh Jacobs forced 15 missed tackles, most by a ball carrier this season. The Niners missed 19 total, which, after checking with next-gen stats, is not fucking good. Did a white corner get an interception this week? No, but hopefully Riley Moss gets healthy enough for another pick this season. Winning running back, Saquon. He's incredible. He had 250 yards on the ground, 302 total, including a 70-yard touchdown right out of halftime. I think it's fair to call either Saquon or Derrick Henry the best free agent signings in the NFL, and I'm hoping their success ushers in a new age where running backs start making more than pennies on the dollar. And in typical Eagles fashion, they gave the ball to Kenneth Gainwell at the goal line instead of Barkley, but now he's up to 1,392 yards on the season, beating his career high, and we might need to start talking about him as a legit MVP candidate. That's how much he's meant to an Eagles team that's now 9-2 on the season and is riding a 7-game win streak in which Barkley has gone for at least 100 yards in 5 of them. Winning defender, Leonard Williams, who's flown under the radar in Seattle, but he had 2.5 sacks on Kyler Murray in the Seahawks win over Arizona to go along with 4 quarterback hits and a pass batted down. He also turned Evan Brown into a blocking sled on this snap. Just another former Giant who's playing lights out for another team. Oh yeah, Xavier McKinney had another interception. Sorry, G-Man. Oh shit, is Daniel Jones really going to be thriving in 2025? I'm starting to believe so. Winning coach. We haven't talked about him much this year, but I don't think anyone needed a big win like Brian Callahan needed this one against the Texans. He's actually doing a pretty good job with Will Levis, who has a passer rating of 109.3 over the last 3 games. Callahan has gone from asking Levis, "What the fuck are you doing?" to looking like this on the sideline. You could still probably ask Will Levis that question every week because after starting 11 for 11, he Levised the handoff. But against Houston, he battled through 8 sacks to average nearly 12 yards per attempt, while Tony Pollard had a quiet 119 yards on the ground, including this pinball wizardry that somehow netted 17 yards coming out of his own end zone. Meanwhile, the Texans aren't ceding any ground in the AFC South, but yeesh, they do not look like the same team we saw a year ago, and they're starting to look like a team that's going to be a home underdog come playoff time. The revenge dagger goes to every member of the Packers. The Packers have lost 5 consecutive postseason games at the hands of the 49ers, including a wild one in last year's divisional round. But they got a banged-up Niners gang in Lambeau and totally thumped them. The Pack outrushed the 49ers 169-44, and Green Bay took the ball away 3 times while getting 13 more minutes in time of possession. Just a complete ass-paddling of San Francisco, and they've got a chance to do it again on Thanksgiving night. My losing team, the Giants. Not only did an entire stadium full of Italians and spiritually Italian fans get mocked by Baker Mayfield, their sweet prince of Gabagool got leveled multiple times by the Bucs defense in front of a blowout. Tampa Bay ran the ball down their throats, Tyrone Tracy fumbled again, and every former Giant just seems to be having a career season. This is all shaping up for Danny Dimes to resurrect his career next season while the Giants twiddle their thumbs until they can suck bad enough to draft Arch Manning, who will pull a reverse Eli and demand to be traded to the Chargers. Moral victory, the Panthers. They might have lost, but this was an extreme moral victory for Callahan. Bryce Young looked like a serviceable quarterback against a really tough Spags defense, and even though the Chiefs ultimately won the game on the final drive, because of course they did, the Panthers have to be coming out of this game feeling several iotas better about what looked like an awful situation. Young made some throws we haven't seen out of him since he was at Alabama, and that drive to tie the game was the best of his career. Hands down. He's looking a bit like Tua to me. He and Levis actually have better passer ratings than Stroud and Richardson since October, and he joins Josh Allen and Joe Burrow as the only QBs to drop 25 or more points on that Chiefs defense. Now, all they have to do is wait until their owner does something awful enough to make him sell the team. And surely that will happen sooner rather than later. And if you want to support this channel, sign up at Underdog, today's sponsor. Use my code THATSGOOD if you want to play daily fantasy or in pick'em games. We had over 200 people sign up last week. So we can hit the goal of getting 10,000 signups, which of course leads to $1 million for me. But we're in the 3rd quarter. We're trailing by 10. But after those 200 signups, we just got into the red zone. Let's make it happen. Code THATSGOOD, link in the description, Underdog. And the bed shitters. Washington shat the bed quite profusely on Sunday against their arch rival. An arch rival with Cooper Rush at QB. An arch rival having its worst season in recent memory. You can't lose to the team with their fans showing up with bags over their heads. That's the worst football sin. With just over 3 minutes to go, the Commies trailed 20-9, but drew within 3 on a Zach Ertz touchdown. However, immediately, they let former USFL MVP Kevontae Turpin put their kickoff team in the spin cycle. They got a field goal back, and with 30 seconds remaining, somehow Lightning struck twice with a quasi-Hail Mary to Terry McLaurin. All they had to do was kick the extra point. Oh, God, he missed it.
I'm not even sure what we just watched.
No, Austin Seibert, who had not missed an extra point since the 2020 season, missed it by a mile. They actually got a chance on offense after the Cowboys returned the onside kick back for a touchdown. But 3 Hail Marys proved too many Hail Marys, proving you can't fall back on the crutch of religion every week. Washington has now lost 3 in a row, and Jayden Daniels can feel Bo Nix breathing down his neck, ready to steal Offensive Rookie of the Year. Do not turn around, Jayden, because those are the eyes, the crazy eyes you'll see staring right at ya. And somewhere Baker Mayfield was gabagooling us like a gabagooler. Winning stat, the Detroit Lions have a rushing touchdown in 24 straight games, a new NFL record going all the way back to the start of last season. They've got a rushing TD in 21 straight regular season games, tied for 3rd longest streak of all time with the Dolphins of the mid-70s. And as you know, that team treated the forward pass like it was the plague. David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, a.k.a. Sonic and Knucklefucker, became the first Lions duo to reach each rush for 10-plus touchdowns in franchise history. Loser, Jim Harbaugh, who is now 0-3 versus his big bro John in NFL matchups. He may have given the brotherly quote of the year.
I'd lay down my life for my brother, but I would not let him win a football game.
But you gotta back that up with the win, lil bro. I love my brother, but I'd step in front of a bus before I let him beat me in beer pong. Jim was up 6 cups in this game. LA rushed to a 10-0 lead. Justin Herbert put on a clinic for ball security. If I have another baby, I am asking that Justin Herbert carry it home from the hospital. After that lead, oh no, Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson happened. And Justice Hill, and Mark Andrews, and Rashad Bateman. Winning weapons, when they use them, the Ravens. Putting up 30 on the league's most stingy defense is impressive, especially after starting in the hole. Unfortunately, an illegal formation ended Derrick Henry's touchdown streak, and Lamar was channeling his youth on this touchdown scamper, solidifying himself atop the quarterback MVP race. But there are 2 guys I want to highlight that haven't been talked about enough. My winning role players, running back Justice Hill, who gashed the Chargers on this 51-yard touchdown. Hill has 40 carries and 33 receptions this season, 3 total touchdowns, and I love to bitch about Derrick Henry not getting enough touches in some of those Ravens losses, but Justice Hill is great. A reason they love Hill is because he provides justice to any man who dare blitz his quarterback. Also, Henry did get 24 touches in this game, and the Ravens won. Told you, John. 20 touches, no matter what. Also, Rashad Bateman has been pretty good this year. He's Lamar Jackson's safety blanket on deep balls. He has 5 touchdowns on the season, and I have no idea how he caught this one. I've decided that this is also the perfect football play. It's a perfect throw, amazing coverage by the defender, and an insane catch. It doesn't get any better than when every person involved in a play does their job, and it just becomes about willpower. God, I love football! Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Might have to put myself on the pup list, the physically unable to perform. But before I do, please subscribe here. Dear God, I need your subscriptions. Don't forget, God bless Bo Nix.